AstroSwap is ready to take off, but we are going to look at why in terms of high probability but never certainty from entry to exit, so you can put your business plan together so you can put the odds in your favor. So if you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. If you don't know me by now, my name is Jiggy. I'm the award-winning author of The Extraordinary New Venture Capital Opportunity, How to Invest Like a Pro. Been featured in the best-selling book, High Probability Trading Strategies, back in 2008, where I only used to focus on currencies, but now exclusive on cryptocurrency. So let's dive straight in. YouTube likes it when you like my video and it shows it to more people, and I love for more people to see my content. So we know that AstroSwap is launching in January, but when? January 28th. So there was a Telegram post from the team, and I'm just going to read it because we want to make sure we're up to date with the latest information. Then we're going to look at some technical, psychological, human buying and selling behavior where you can see what's likely, highly probable, going to occur, so you can plan in advance, write your plan in advance, and execute it mechanically, objectively, and non-emotionally. That's what the pros do. So we are launching the AstroSwap DEX on the 28th of January on the Binance Smart Chain as a temporary interim solution, as the throughput rate on the Cardano blockchain does not meet our minimum volume requirements. I absolutely love this. AstroSwap, props to you, props to the team, because look, business is tough and it's all about staying flexible. And the one that's most flexible wins. And here they said, look, Cardano is not meeting our requirements right now. We're behind our schedule on launching the DEX, but it's out of our control. Right, what can we do for the community? What can we do for right now to get more proof of concept, launch the mainnet, and then we can figure it out later on. So the next part, he said, this is from astronaut Aldrin. We'll have Binance Smart Chain Cardano Bridge that will essentially wrap the Cardano tokens on Binance Smart Chain. The decision is solely focused on the AstroSwap token holders and community expectations for a pleasurable working solution whilst awaiting Cardano's advancements. So you're going to create a simple bridge, get your Cardano tokens, boom, over to the Binance Smart Chain, and then use the AstroSwap DEX. Love this, love this, love this. Is a very bullish sign for me, not only as a token, but the team, the project, being able to just have the gonads to go, guys, look, we don't know how long Cardano is going to take to get this throughput volume to the level that we require. So let's just get on with business. And when it's there, we'll just bridge it back over. Bob's your uncle. And then Astronaut Kirk, these are the moderators of the AstroSwap team. To add to Aldrin's words, I would like everyone to understand how bullish this actually is. You'll be having a normal experience of a Cardano DEX, which is decentralized exchange, trading Cardano tokens, except with a way higher speeds and galactic APYs. It is something we've been testing, and it ended up being absolutely the best solution for the end user at this point in time. I love this. So I know I said it a few times, but sometimes you just have to make business decisions, and I like this decision. Otherwise, it's just going to be a waiting game, and the community is going to just be like, when? You said then, but when? Later, with Cardano throughput improvements, we'll still be moving to that. But for now, this is something that the end user will end up being the happiest with, since the experience will be smooth. You'll also be able to use MetaMask from day one, so we don't have to kind of learn anything new, because most people are used to MetaMask for Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain. This decision is all about putting the end user's experience first. Very, very key. So the key takeaways here: launching on the 28th of Jan. We know that. Binance Smart Chain as a temporary interim solution so they can get the first mover advantage. Let's just get the customers going. This is lovely. I like it. High speeds and galactic APYs. Again, it's all about us, the end user, the token holders, you. So this is lovely. So AstroSwap, keep in mind, they partnered and powered by Wagyu Swap. That's had a very successful launch on the Valas blockchain, incubated by the Bluezilla team, and partnered with AdaPad, which is going to be launching a lot of projects for the Cardano blockchain, for the AdaPad, or the ADA token itself, and the ADA ecosystem. So this means it can just get to business, right? It doesn't need to wait for Cardano DEX to be live. We can just go, let's just get to business. Let's just move forward. And then when Cardano is ready at the level that is required, then we just bridge everything over and it's business as usual. Love it, love it, love it. So now we're going to look at technicals, price action. Look, we had a AstroSwap launch. It did a 500x, and we know that the price has done a massive retracement right down to I've actually drawn, I haven't actually shared this with anyone before, I don't think anyway. I typically say the maximum wave two most typical is 78.6% retracement, but the square root of that is 88.6. And that's what this range is over here. Having thought about it, I mean, getting closer and closer to the date of the 28th of January where this is going to launch, I think it's going to fly. I think it's absolutely going to fly. Probabilities, but never certainties. So these are the ranges. I just want to go over what I'm envisioning happening, right? You can envision this stuff happening when you're used to chart patterns, used to buying and selling behavior, used to projects going to mainnet, high APYs, what kind of supply and demand kind of mechanisms occur, and what kind of price action should we anticipate. So the next price action is the wave 3, 1.618 to 2.618. That's taking 15 cents, which is just above today's price when I'm doing this video. It's currently around 14 cents. So it's a 5.6 extra, 83 cents to $1.30. That's what I'm anticipating. So what I like to do is personally, even though I'm very bullish on the Cardano ecosystem, on AstroSwap, on the Bluezilla ecosystem, what they're doing and everything else, I still like to get risk-free. So when the price surges, if you've got an opportunity at 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x to get risk-free, sell 20% of your tokens, 30% of your tokens, I would lean towards that side, because even though we're very bullish on this, anything can still happen. So it's only probabilities, never certainties. And then stake. Maximize your tokens. Not in the current staking account. We're talking about the new juicy APYs that are going to be launched. And we got a reference. We got a case study. What's the case study? Well, it's WagooSwap. WagooSwap had 5 to 6 figure APYs when it first launched, which caused a huge demand for the token. Huge demand, which drove up the price. But you could effectively double your token holdings within a week, right? Double your token holdings within a week, right? So that's where you need to plan and prepare. But then it becomes a bit difficult. Why? Because the markets are going to be moving up and down as you're staking. And you have to have a business plan in place. Well, you don't have to. I highly recommend you do have a business plan, also known as a trading plan, which is mechanical, non-emotional. So you can say, when this happens, I take this action. If this happens, I take this action. So it's planned out, it's thought out ahead of time. So you're not getting caught up in the emotional game of fear and greed, because it's like, okay, the price is going up. I think it's going to go to the moon. So why would I sell? And then it does a retracement and you go, oh Lord, I should have sold at the top. Now it's at the bottom. And then you start selling and the price takes off again. That's not good business practice. We're going to be ahead of the game. So what I'm seeing is going to happen, again, taking Elliot Wave and Fibonacci into account, market's moving fives and threes, right? We should know that by now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is what we anticipate. A, B, C. That's the finish of a sequence, and then there's a next expansion of that sequence. If you want to learn more about Elliot Wave and Fibonacci, which is probably the most important thing that you can have in your business, in your arsenal of kind of getting an edge in your favor, take my free Elliot Wave and Fibonacci masterclass. It's in the link below. It lets you understand this in detail. So it's easy, it's simple, and you can repeat it over and over again. So I'm basing my thesis, my thinking on this. Right, so what I'm anticipating is we're going to get a surge similar to that we got with WagooSwap, right? And where the market is going, it might be a very impulsive surge depending on what's going on with the entire market, but we should anticipate this at least, in the zone of 83 cents to around $1.30. Maybe it'll spike much higher depending on a few other factors, but typically a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, a wave 5, right? But then you go, right, Jagir, but what do I do at each phase? Well, how I'm personally thinking and showing my students is risk-free. Whatever your risk-free tolerance is. If you're more aggressive, you can ride the price up more and get risk-free later. Or if you're much more conservative, you just get risk-free earlier. So always just keep in mind, anything can happen, right? Anything can happen. There could be a problem. There could be this. There could be that. So just go on the case of worst case scenario. So if the worst does happen, you're risk-free. So you don't need to worry about it. You got your money back in your pocket. This one didn't go to plan, and then we just focus on the next project. But this is what I'm thinking. Risk-free at or close to the 1.618 retracement, and stake, right? Whether it's the LP accounts, which is the yield farming, or the single staking accounts. They both have pros and cons. That's for a whole different video. But stake, maximize your yield, support the project, provide that liquidity, but get rewarded for that liquidity, you providing it by doubling your rewards. It might be 10%, 20%, 30%, 50%, 100%, depending on how long you stake and what the APYs are. And then at the top of wave 3, in this 1 point, if it gets to $1.30 zone and is looking like a 5-wave sequence, we'll do an update nearer the time. Take some profits. Yeah, profits. Take some profits. If maybe you've accumulated an extra 30% rewards by then, hey, there's nothing wrong with selling those. Or you can do something else with them. You can work it out, but it's to have the plan ahead of time. This is the key, right? So you don't have to follow this exactly, but the main premise is that you have the plan written out in simple bullet points. And ideally, you want to use CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap with price alerts with a note that just says, if this price gets hit, I do this. If this price gets hit, I do this. Whether it's exit, whether it's double down, whether it's dollar cost averaging, whether it's ladder selling, whatever it is that you're doing, is that you've planned it ahead of time. And then I like to sell at the top of a wave 5. So if there's a really clean 5-wave sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, around the $2.10 mark, when I see a clear pattern, if it is very, very clear and is broken down into textbook Elliot Wave style, you've seen my videos before, whether it's Decentraland, whether it's VLX, whether it's, when we did it with Solana, where we pegged the tops, whether it's Dogecoin, we pegged the top, because human psychology is the most important thing when it comes to buying and selling and psychological price behavior. Yet people think it's, I don't know, whatever else. It's so powerful. And if you haven't, you have to take my masterclass. It's so good. Well, that's what my students tell me anyway. Take it, enjoy it, but also just learn this, because you're gonna get a feel that these patterns, there's a great quote, I think it's by Arthur C. Clarke. He said, any advanced technology or science is indistinguishable from magic. Any advanced technology or science is indistinguishable from magic in terms of it looks like magic. And we're talking about the social sciences, we're talking about psychology, we're talking about human behavior, which is very unknown, is a very kind of is very much researched, but it's not common knowledge. And it looks like magic because it's a science and it's an advanced science. But when you kind of go, oh, these psychological ratios, 1.618, 0.618, play out a time and time again, and you're looking at my charts, and if you go back and even if you go back to the Solana video, I think it was back in August when we pegged the low, it looks like magic, because it was like literally we drew a little box and then the price reversed and just exploded. It looks like magic, but it's not. It's just advanced science. All right, then what do we see happening afterwards? Well, I typically anticipate after a 5-wave sequence an A, B, C. So this is like the next 3, 4, 5 months of AstroSwap, and is now for you, again, this is not guaranteed to happen, but it's now for you to kind of plan your roadmap and say, okay, if it does occur like this is what I want to do. And if it doesn't occur like this is how I'm going to mitigate the risk against that happening. I think that's the last slide. Yeah, that is the last slide. So let's now just dive into a live chart. Let's just kind of go into AstroSwap. So this is what I drew this morning with AstroSwap. There's one last thing I wanted to cover, and then we'll wrap up, is what most people don't realize. I think let me just bring it back up here, actually. Let's just go to this. This here. This is so important. This is the foundation, the bedrock that I personally use, that I learned over a decade, and it applies in all markets and all time frames. We're talking about even minuscule time frames and macro time frames, where this 5-wave sequence occurs, but then it repeats. It repeats. And what I mean by that is this. If I just go, I think I got it here. Yeah, this is what I want to show you, because we're going to use this now. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? We have this pattern, and then we refer to that as a macro wave 1 and an A, B, C. But what we have here, because I'm going to show you this in AstroSwap, I'm kind of giving you how I view the markets in a non-emotional way. We got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave sequence followed by an A, B, C, right? And then once we see that sequence, it repeats all over again, but on a more macro level. So then we call this a wave 2. And then on the macro level, we get the next 5-wave sequence, which is of a wave 3, right? And then that's what we'll anticipate with AstroSwap. So what do I mean by that in layman's terms? If we just jump back into the live chart, is if we now zoom out, because this looks like big moves, right? But remember, back in 2013, 2014, 2015, when Bitcoin was going from like $10 to $100 at the time, that's a 10x. But if we look back at it now in comparison to today's price, geez, it's almost comical. But that's what happens with all markets. So what we're going to anticipate with all markets, including Astro, is that once and if it pans out this way, I'm talking about a 5-6 month plan, and we know the market's probably going to come towards an end. I think May, June, July. So we might get one, and at like the next surge, is that this whole movement then becomes one. And the reason I'm showing you this is I know some of you are more longer term. You don't care what's happening in the next 3 or 4 months. You're looking at longer term, and this gives more confidence. So then all of a sudden, on a macro picture, if I can draw this, this then becomes the wave one. Let's just put it in. Let's put it in green. Green. Let's put it in bold. This becomes a wave one. And then what do we anticipate? Well, this ABC, this whole ABC correction, this on a macro would then be a wave two. So I'm just trying to help you get like more of a vision of the markets and how ideally you should be thinking. And then after this finishes, if it does pan out like this, and we'll see this time and time and time again, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Ethereum, or whether it's AstroSwap, is what we would anticipate. I'm going to do a Fibonacci extension just to kind of give you, this is just more for fun really, is we're going to measure this wave one and project it from, we're speculating like 5 months into the future, right? So we're just going to, let me just do it one more time. Just make sure I get this low, bang, bang, bang. It doesn't not let me do it in the future. I'll have to do it here. Let me do it here. Bam, bam, bam. All right. So then what we're saying is this whole wave structure, the next sequence should be 1.618 to 2.618 wave expansion as a more of a macro wave three. And we go, well, what numbers are those you get if it does the next wave three on a macro? Well, then we're talking about $4 to $6, right? $4 to $6. Now is looking like, okay, well, based on today's price or right now, let's just call it 15 cents, even though it's less than 14, is if it gets to $6 divided by 0.15, it will be a 40x, right? Again, these are just probabilities. I'm just speculating here, but the main thing that I want to get across is the markets moves in fives and threes, where there's more volume, where there's many players and markets getting more and more mature, it's fives and threes. So this is the macro picture. So now if you're a short-term trader, short-term investor, you go, right, I got a 6-week plan. If you're slightly more intermediate, you go, right, I got a 3-month plan. And then if you're already macro, then you can go, hey, look, I don't need to be getting involved with all the noise. I'm just going to stand back, I'm going to stake, I'm going to maximize my yield for my crypto, my AstroSwap. And then if it hits this price on a more macro, bang, that's where I'm going to take some profits. This is my risk-free point. If it does an ABC correction, well, I'm just staking. I'm just going to stake during the correction because you don't have to just hold, as you're not just losing, you're just, on paper, the price is going down, but you're accumulating your tokens with the vision that is going to be a major DEX for the Cardano blockchain, which is the growing ecosystem, where you can go, well, my vision is what if and when, and the word is if, because we can only do probabilities and never certainties. If it gets to $6, then I'm going to sell 80% of my tokens and then hold the further 20% for the 2025 bull run, right? So there's no right or wrong. Your personality is different to mine. Your risk tolerance is different to mine. Your experience is different to mine. But the main thing is, what we can do in the sequence fashion is write out the plan. So you bought your AstroSwap tokens, or you're about to buy. What is the plan? When is risk-free? When is profit-taking one? How many of your tokens are you going to keep liquid? How many are you going to stake? How long are you going to stake for? What's the reasoning behind it? And then once you got those bullet points, put in some, write it down, put in some price alerts in CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, and then have it on the spreadsheet. So when those price alerts are hit, or have it in the note of CoinGecko, when those price alerts are hit, you can go, this is the action that I take. And then you can manage a portfolio of 5 coins, 10 coins, 20 coins with comfort, with ease, in a mechanical, business-like fashion. So there you go. That was a mini lesson today on vision, because some people naturally are able to see the future much better than others, and the others have a different type of strength. But when we kind of see the markets are expanding right now, a couple of years ago, was it the beginning of 2017, I believe the market cap of the entire cryptocurrency market was $18 billion, right? Last year we exceeded $3 trillion. What's that? That's you got 1,000 billion in a trillion. So if you times it by 5, times it by 10, that's 50. 50 times that's 150 times bigger as an expanding market from the beginning of 2017 to the end of 2021. That's what you call expansion. And that's reflected in this price movement, this price action, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC. So I challenge you, take my free Elliot Wave and Fibonacci masterclass. It's free, literally. I mean, look, I'll be straight with you at the end. I say, look, if you want, buy my course, which I break things down into bite-sized chunks. With Elliot Wave, we keep it really, really simple. With Fibonacci, we break down retracements, external retracements, Fibonacci price extensions, also known as alternate price projections. I even teach you some stuff around momentum so you can really get the probability in your favor, and we use a lot of examples. Right, let's finish up on a quote. What's the quote of the day? Today is Leonardo da Vinci. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. A nice one-page plan for your AstroSwap position if you're taking a position. Your risk management, what if I'm wrong and it doesn't take off the way I'm seeing it? How do you mitigate that risk? Right, I assume this is the minimum. This is where I want to take profits. Staking. This is my expectations for staking. This is how long I want to stake. This is how long I want to hold, even when there's a correction happening, and this is why. And this is my 6-month plan, my 3-month plan, whatever it is. The main thing is that you have a plan and then follow the plan. So plan your trades and trade your plan. There's another quote for you. And I want to actually add that last bit that I said in the middle. Arthur C. Clarke, I believe it was Arthur C. Clarke. He said, any advanced technology or science is indistinguishable from magic. Now, when you learn the method behind the madness, which is Elliot Wave and Fibonacci, and the psychological behavior of buying and selling, you'll be on the inside. So then no longer does it look like magic, because you've advanced your skill. You've advanced your knowledge. You've advanced your consciousness to see what other people can't see. And then now that's going to give you an edge on the market, which means you're going to have a higher probability of winning. It's like a tennis game, right? If you've trained and you've trained and you've trained, the person that's untrained, well, you're going to wipe the floor with them. And this is a sport, the business of investing. We want to manage our risk, manage the downside, and maximize our upside. If you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I'll see you soon.